Alexia.
Jada.
All right. So I want you all to imagine beneath us right now a fire raging, 800 degrees of flame, and it just happened yesterday. Now I want you to imagine 50 years later that fire's still burning and never going out. Now this may sound like something from Dante's Inferno or some other movie about hell, but this is the real story of a northeastern town in Pennsylvania. A small town in northeastern Pennsylvania known as Centralia, Pennsylvania. So today I'm going to tell you about the raging coal fire in Centralia, Pennsylvania, how it started, the government's response to the fire, and the effects and aftermath of that fire today. So to begin, I'll tell you how the fire started. Before I do that, let me tell you about Centralia, Pennsylvania. Northeast Pennsylvania was known for its coal mines. So there's tons of underground tunnels in the area. And Centralia, Pennsylvania was known for anthracite coal. Anthracite coal is one of the most expensive forms of coal. It burns at the highest temperature and it can continue burning for a long time, such as 50 years. Centralia, Pennsylvania in 1962 was coming up on its Memorial Day celebration. The city had a problem with trash and the smell of it all, so they decided to get rid of it by burning it in a shift mine. Shift mine is above ground mine. So they put all the trash in there and had the firefighters come and attempt to burn this trash out. Mind you, this was illegal. So after the illegal burning, they tried to douse the fire, only to find that the flames did not go out. Well, they assumed that maybe by the next day, the flames would just be done. So they all left, came back. Very next day, the flames are raging even higher and they're still going. What they did not realize was that the fire escaped to the underground coal mines beneath the town. So now the fire has reached 253 feet below the town and it's just raging right on the outskirts of the main town. A little tidbit, during this time there were 1,400 residents in the town of Centralia, Pennsylvania. Soon, of course, as the fire began to rage, smoke began to come up from the ground all over town, and people began to feel lightheaded, carbon monoxide poisoning, and all these things. So they solicited help from the state, which is what I will tell you about second, the government's response. So first, the government, this local government, attempted to drill out the fire, put in tons of water, try to get it going, but nothing worked. Then they solicited funds from the state of Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania decided that they would spend more money by building a trench around the town so the fire wouldn't breach. The fire pushed right past that. So now the fire is burning long into about 5 years before anybody's trying to do anything. So they send out more helicopters, spend tons of money, nothing works. Eventually the U.S. Bureau of Coal Mines begins to ignore the issue, pretend like it's not happening because they don't want to deal with it. They've already spent so much money, there's nothing they can do at that point, so they say. It wasn't until 1981, 15 years after the fire began, that it got national media attention. A 12-year-old boy was playing in his yard and a sinkhole opened up beneath him. He fell into the sinkhole. Luckily he survived, but this caused widespread news coverage and the state realized that they had to do something about the fire. So a year later, Congress proposed $42 million to buy out all the property in Centralia, Pennsylvania, and remove the residents. So just everyone moved. Some people didn't want to leave their homes. They said, this is where I grew up. I don't want to go. People don't like change. But eventually they realized they could not live in this town. It's unlivable and it's toxic. So the government tore down most of the town homes. A few residents were named, maybe about 20 residents, in juxtaposition to the 1,400 that were originally there. And the fire is still raging. And then now I'll tell you where the city stands today. Today, there's about 5 residents in Centralia, Pennsylvania still. These 5 residents came about because in 1992, the governor declared eminent domain over the city, meaning that the state takes control, it's their property now. The people fought back, they lost, but they still just squatted there, tried to get squatters' rights on their town. Efforts failed. Eventually, they reached a settlement with the state in 2012 where they could live there, but they're not allowed to pass the land down to anybody or sell it. So once they die, it's the state's. That's just how it works. So now Centralia, Pennsylvania is a tourist town. The town inspired the movie Silent Hill. The fire still rages. If you go there now, you'll see that there's flames underneath, there's smoke. When it snows, there's patches of no snow because the heat is so hot, all from an illegal burning in 1962. The main highway that ran through the town has now become a tourist attraction. The government realized they couldn't fix it, too many sinkholes, too much smoke coming from it, so they just condemned it and built around the highway. That highway, which is a 1 mile stretch through the town, is now full of graffiti, and people just come there every year just to check it out, see the ghost town. Much to the frustration of the current residents, they don't like the tourists. The tourists don't understand why the people who live there still live there, and they treat them as if they're not real people. They trash their property, write all over it, and just kind of laugh at them. And it just ticks them off. So I have told you today about Centralia, Pennsylvania. I've told you about the burning town, the fire that started from a landfill, and ironically enough, the fire is because of the prosperous economy that started from coal mining. Because of this, now a fire just rages for the next, experts speculate, 250 years the fire is going to continue burning before it burns out. Temperatures are still at 800 degrees. Very unlivable town. Somehow 4 to 5 people still live there. I hope after today you know a little bit more about the small town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, and I thank you for your time.